Hi, Terry here. Welcome to Times Gone Tech. So, as you can see, I am back out into the deep dark forest. Actually, I'm on the road that runs through the deep dark forest. The problem is it's been raining pretty much nonstop for the past 3 days, and this is naturally mosquitoes, naturally very swampy and marshy land anyway. Even at the height of the dry season, there are standing pools of water and mud out there. You can sink up to your knee pretty quickly in some of it. It's very soft and mushy. And right now, especially so, I'm staying on the road. Now, it's a good thing too, because I'm out here for a stroll, that's true, but I have heard there are some pretty rough characters that like to hang out here, jump on people as they're walking through and rob them. But I came prepared. That's right. This is the Texas Behemoth, the Colt 1847 Walker, the gun that tamed Texas, inspired the motto, one riot, one ranger. And we're going to see if that will help defend me. Oh, uh-oh. Look at that. There it is. There they are. Oh my gosh, will you look at that? It looks like one of them went to sleep. It is the Melon 2-liter gang. That is Cole, Jim here, who's asleep, and Bob, and their two close friends, Frank and Jesse Leader, 2-liter there. Uh-oh, I think they're going to want to rob me. Well, let's see if the Texas Behemoth can live up to its reputation. Well, apparently the Melon 2-liter gang were up drinking all night, and Jim there in the middle, he went to sleep, took a little nap, but he's awake now. You know what? I better get my ears in, because this thing I have heard is loud. And if you see me waving my arms around in the air, I'm just swatting at mosquitoes. Let's see what the Colt Walker can do. Let's try Cole first. Okay. Cole Melon was shot 20 times in his life, 9 during the Civil War, when he rode with Bloody Bill Anderson, cutting a swath of death and destruction through central Missouri, and then 11 more times when he and his brothers and the rest of the gang tried to rob a bank up in Minnesota and failed. And he lived through it, 20 gunshots. Now his brother Jim there in the middle, he got wounded during the failed robbery also, and he took a shot to the jaw, which gave him permanent jaw and tongue damage and a noticeable speech impediment. So let's see what the Walker can do with that. I think that's the end of Jim. uh, Look at that, he even knocked his brother over. And this, and that Yahoo there on the right, that's Bob, their little brother. Let's see what the Texas Behemoth can do with him. That's the end of Bob. Now, Frank and Jesse 2-liter, they were wounded, of course, during the war and during various bank robberies and such, but at the failed bank robbery attempt up in Minnesota, 1876, they didn't get a scratch on them. In fact, they hightailed it back to Missouri just as fast as they could. So let's see what we can do with them. Uh, nope, plain dead won't help. One more, one more, back to Cole. Oh yeah. Oh man, that never gets old. Now, there we are. I have done a video on the Colt Walker earlier when I first got this in back earlier in the year, and not going to bore you with all the details, history, stats, and all that. Just to say that I had this loaded with a 0.453 inch diameter lead ball backed up with 60 grains of 777 triple F or triple F 777. And the reason I was using 777 instead of something like Goex or Swiss or whatever is that black powder back in the day was actually hotter and stronger than it is now. So even a Swiss or a Goex, or even my homemade powder, which is better than a Goex at least, is not as strong as the powder they were using then. But 777 does start to kind of get up in that bottom end of that range. So that's why I was using it. The Colt Walker, of course, as you know, was the most powerful handgun issued to military in the world. There were handguns that were more powerful than this, but this is the most powerful revolving, let me clarify that, the most powerful revolving handgun ever issued to a military as their standard sidearm. Each man in the Texas Rangers was given 2 of these. You can imagine that. I got to get another one too. Do a Josie Wales thing. Get a Josie Wales thing going. But yeah, and under ideal conditions, this can actually get up very close, if not to, the power of a modern low-grade 357 Magnum fired from a snub-nosed 2-inch barrel. Now that's saying a lot though for black powder for the 1840s. Okay, so anyway, let's see what kind of damage we did. Of course, you can see from the melons. Oi, oi, oi. Look at that. Well, Jesse 2-liter was assassinated by members of his own gang when he got back to Missouri, started up a new gang. Frank said he'd had enough and he quit. And unfortunately, didn't do him much good this time, even though in reality, Frank lived a long, not quite happy, but a long, healthy life anyway. The Mellon brothers there, they were captured, spent 25 years in a Minnesota prison, and then got paroled. Jim committed suicide, Bob died of natural causes, and Cole lived until 1916, if you can believe that. That means he remembered reading in the paper about the sinking of the Titanic, and he was following the First World War. He knew about submarines, electric lights, phonograph records. Wow. So anyway, starting to come down again, the rain. And I know you can't see it here, but I can feel it. And that's it. I've got no reloads available right now. I just came out to see what I could do with the Mellon 2-liter gang. And it looks like the law and justice hath prevailed once more. So, thanks for watching. Oh yeah, always take out what you take in, right? The melons I'm going to leave because wildlife will eat those. They'll love that. That's you know, a snack for them. Deer especially. They're going to go crazy over those watermelons. But these go out with me. So, thanks for watching and see you next time.